This is part 3 of the chapter 3 lecture notes, and this should be the last part as well. So we have covered the biomolecules, carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins, and now we're going to talk about nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are the polymers, nucleotides are the monomers. So the two varieties or types of nucleic acids are DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid and RNA or ribonucleic acid. So since the nucleotides are the monomers, we're going to talk about the composition of nucleotides. So there are 3 components: the phosphate, a phosphate group, a pentose sugar, which is either ribose or deoxyribose, and a nitrogen-containing base. DNA contains 4 nitrogen-containing bases or nitrogenous bases, which I'll just call a base from now on. DNA contains adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine, and we'll just use the letters A, G, C, and T to represent those. So adenine is A, guanine is G, cytosine is C, and thymine is T. So DNA contains all 4 of these bases: adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. And RNA contains adenine, guanine, cytosine, but its 4th base is uracil. It does not contain thymine. It contains a U for uracil. So this is what a nucleotide would look like. The base here you can see is cytosine or C, and then you have a sugar and a phosphate. So a sugar, a phosphate, and a base are always the 3 components of any nucleotide. The sugar found in DNA is called deoxyribose, and the sugar found in RNA is called ribose. And here is the difference. In DNA, this hydrogen group in blue does not have an oxygen attached to it, whereas in RNA it does. So deoxyribose is missing an oxygen, whereas ribose has an additional oxygen. The nucleotides are broken down into pyrimidines, which are single ring structures. Cytosine, thymine, and uracil are all pyrimidines, meaning they have a single ring. And purines are double ring structures. Adenine and guanine are the purines. And so you can see up here the structure of a nucleotide, a phosphate, a sugar, and a base. The structure of deoxyribose is missing an oxygen. Ribose has an additional oxygen. And then cytosine, thymine, and uracil are pyrimidines or single ring structures, whereas adenine and guanine are purines or double ring structures. So how are they linked together? The backbone of the nucleic acid strand is alternating sugar-phosphate molecules. So DNA is a twisted ladder or a double helix shape. That means the 2 sides of the ladder are going to be composed of sugars and phosphates. RNA is a single-stranded molecule. DNA is double-stranded. So the DNA is composed of 2 strands held together by hydrogen bonding between the bases. Adenine, which is a purine, always bonds with thymine, which is a pyrimidine. Cytosine, which is a pyrimidine, always bonds with guanine, which is a purine. So this is called complementary base pairing. A's always pair with T's and C's always pair with G's when forming the 2 sides of the DNA. Now, you will need to know this table. The sugar in DNA is deoxyribose. In RNA, it's just ribose. The bases in DNA are A, G, C, and T. The bases in RNA are the same, except instead of thymine, RNA contains uracil. DNA is typically double-stranded and RNA is single-stranded. The only time we see exceptions to this are with viruses. DNA is shaped in the form of a helix, whereas RNA is not. RNA is just a straight, single stranded molecule, and DNA is a double-stranded molecule that has been twisted. So this part of the ladder is sugars and phosphates, and then the bases form the steps of the ladder. The steps or the rungs of the ladder are formed by the bases that are attached. Okay, so moving on, ATP or adenosine triphosphate is the energy currency of our cells. So this is the molecule that our cells use for energy. Adenosine triphosphate has 3 phosphate groups, as you can see here, here, and here. And when it loses one of those groups, when the bond is broken between the second and the third phosphate, this bond right here, when that bond is broken, then energy is released. So ATP, when ATP is broken down, it releases energy. And so that is our chapter on the organic molecules. All of the molecules that we've learned have carbon and hydrogen. That makes them organic, and they are large molecules. And just make sure you know all 4 groups: carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids.